If you're a physician, a nurse, or an APP leader, you know we are surrounded by brilliant ideas to make patient care better. But let's be honest, how many of those amazing ideas actually happen? Well, based on some really powerful discussions in the Culture Coalition, we're going to break down a framework that is all about turning great strategy into real-world results. All right, let's get into it. This quote, it really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The biggest challenge we face as clinical leaders isn't coming up with a strategy. It's the execution. It's that huge, frustrating gap between knowing exactly what we need to do and actually getting it done day in and day out with our teams. So here's our roadmap. First, we're going to define what that execution gap really is and talk about its number one cause, something called the whirlwind. Then we'll walk through the disciplines to fight back, focusing on what's called a wildly important goal, figuring out what to measure, and finally, how to keep score and hold each other accountable. You've been here. I know you have. The team comes up with this fantastic plan, a new protocol, a better workflow, and for a week, maybe two, everyone's fired up. But then, a few months down the road, it's like it never even happened. You gotta understand this isn't a failure of your team's skill or their passion. It's a failure of the system for execution. Let's think about a huge goal, like reducing the length of stay for our surgical patients. I mean, this isn't just a nice to have, right? It is directly linked to cutting down on things like hospital-acquired complications. And, maybe just as important, it frees up beds and optimizes access for other people in our community who desperately need care. So when we fail to execute on this stuff, the consequences are very, very real. So what's the deal? Why does this keep happening? Well, there's one main culprit, and it's not a lack of talent or desire. It's this powerful, relentless force that literally eats up something like 80% of our time and energy every single day. And that force has a name, the whirlwind. Now, the key here is that the whirlwind isn't just random distractions. It's the necessary chaos. It's all the urgent, must-do-now tasks that you have to tackle just to keep your department afloat. And this is exactly what it looks like in our world, isn't it? The nonstop urgent consults, that sudden unexpected admission, the endless EHR notifications popping up, or, scrambling to fill a staffing hole. It's our entire job. And the thing is, the whirlwind will always feel more urgent than our big strategic goals. It will always win, unless we have a system. And that leads to this huge mental shift. You're never, ever going to eliminate the whirlwind. It's just a permanent part of the job. So the real goal is to build a system, a set of disciplines that lets your most important goals actually move forward inside all of that chaos. So let's see how we do that. Okay, discipline 1 is all about focus, but it's a really radical kind of focus. See, our brains and our teams, we simply can't give our best effort to 10 different things at once on top of the day job. The data is just brutal on this. If you try to achieve 4 to 10 goals, you might get 1 done. If you aim for more than 10, you'll likely achieve 0. This question right here, this is the secret sauce. This is how you find your wildly important goal, or what they call a WIG. It forces you to ignore all the things that are merely important and lock in on the one single thing that, if you nailed it, would be an absolute game changer. And a WIG can't be some vague, fuzzy statement like, let's improve patient flow. No, it has to be a laser-focused, measurable target. It has to have a clear starting line, that's X, a clear finish line, that's Y, and a non-negotiable deadline, that's Z. That kind of clarity is what lets it cut through all the noise of the whirlwind. Boom, here's a perfect example. It's not just decrease length of stay. It is decrease average surgical patient length of stay from 5.2 days to 4.5 days by Q4. See how specific that is? Every single person on that team knows exactly what winning looks like. There is no ambiguity. Okay, so we've got our WIG. Great. Now, how in the world do we actually make it happen? Discipline 2 is all about finding the leverage. It's about focusing our actions on the few things that will actually move that big, important goal. And to find that leverage, we have to understand this crucial difference between 2 types of measures. Lag measures, they track the result. They tell you if you won the game. But they're in the past. You can't influence them now. Lead measures, though, they track the high-impact behaviors your team can directly control today that will predict whether you hit your goal tomorrow. This makes it super clear. Our lag measure is the average length of stay. You can't walk onto the floor right now and directly change the average. It's history. But the lead measure, the percentage of patients who are up and walking on post-op day 1, that is something your team can influence. every single shift. It's predictive, it's influenceable, and that's where you put all your energy. All right, the last two disciplines. This is where the magic really happens. This is what creates the engagement and the rhythm that makes sure the team stays laser focused on those lead measures week in and week out, no matter how crazy the whirlwind gets.
Discipline 3 is all about engagement. Think about it. Nobody's excited to play a game if they don't know the score. You need a simple, visual player scoreboard, not some complicated spreadsheet for managers. It needs to be something anyone on the team can glance at and know in 5 seconds, are we winning or are we losing?
And here's a perfect example of what that could look like. Notice it's not tracking the lag measure, the length of stay. It's tracking the lead measure, that weekly ambulation rate. This gives the team instant feedback. They see their actions directly moving the score up, and that creates this incredible drive to win.
And finally, Discipline 4 gives it a heartbeat, a cadence of accountability. This is a super short weekly meeting, like under 30 minutes. It's not another soul-crushing status update. It's fast, it's focused, and it's all about one thing, moving that wig. People quickly report on what they committed to do last week, you look at the scoreboard together, and then everyone makes new specific commitments for the week ahead to move those lead measures. So when you boil it all down, it's these 4 simple rules. 1. Focus on one wildly important goal. 2. Act on the lead measures you can influence, not the lag measures you can't. 3. Keep a visible scoreboard so everyone knows if you're winning. And 4. Create that weekly rhythm of accountability to keep the momentum going. Look, why do we even care about all this? It's because getting good at execution isn't about checking boxes or following a process. For us, this is the direct line to achieving what we all got into this work for in the first place: to deliver better, safer outcomes for patients, to build teams that are engaged and proud of their work, and to serve our communities by making sure people can get the care they need. So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. When you look at your team, your service line, your unit right now, what is that one wildly important goal that if you could just nail it would truly change everything? Thanks for digging into this with me.